Hello, in this video I want to introduce a tool called the Goals Grid. Widely used in strategic planning in general, and a particular favourite of scenario thinkers and those who engage in scenario planning exercises. The Goals Grid is designed, as the name suggests, to help us identify clear goals, and I want to pause to think about what a clear goal is for a second, and then go on to introduce the grid, the questions it's designed to address, and how it can be used in order to hone down on the focal issue driving a process. So, goals. All planning activities and scenario thinking activities in particular need to be very much goals driven. Without a clear goal, you have no clear destination. And in scenario thinking, the overarching goal that's driving the process is called the focal issue. The idea is to make sure we have a clearly defined focal issue, determine the parameters of the exercise, so that we look at the right variables externally and internally, and the different types of futures that might emerge from them. The focal issue drives everything, not just from the construction of scenarios, but the routes to those scenarios that the organization needs to put in place. And regular revisiting of the focal issue through tools such as the Goals Grid can really help us stay on track for the long term. Goals need to be aligned. They need to be aligned to the corporate strategy. All organizations will have a mission statement these days, and the best way to think about this is the goals captured in that mission statement should cascade down to all elements of the process. So, for example, the organization's aspirations in terms of demand, the markets it wishes to serve, and the customers it wishes to reach, they would be delegated to the marketing function. The team within that would have to set goals, define a focal issue that was consistent with the overarching strategic objectives at a corporate level. So, what's the Goals Grid and how do we use it? Ultimately, the Goals Grid is simply a way of capturing four things: what we want to achieve, what we want to preserve, what we want to avoid, and what we want to eliminate. So, the first element of the grid looks at what is it that we want as an organization that we don't currently have. So it could be, for example, we have a particular brand and we'd like particular qualities or attributes to be associated with that brand that aren't currently there. That would be an achievement goal. Next, there's the preserve goals, which are about what is it that we've got already that we really want to keep. So what are the pivotal elements of our brand? What do people associate with our brand that we must protect and preserve at all costs? Sometimes marketing goes wrong because those core attributes are destroyed. So what is it we want to keep? Next, what is it we want to avoid? What don't we have that we really don't want anyway? So for example, if we have a health product, we wouldn't want that product becoming associated with a particular illness or a dangerous behavior or something like that. Celebrity endorsement, for example, can be a minefield. Imagine you've got a health product, it's designed to promote health in the young, and then the next day there's a tabloid headline saying your key celebrity in your new campaign has been taking drugs. That would be an example of a goal to avoid. And finally, there's eliminate. What have we got at the moment that we really don't want anymore? This can sometimes be focusing on negative factors. So perhaps negative associations are built up around a brand. A TV documentary might have suggested that the manufacturers we outsource to in another country haven't been as ethical as we claim we are being as an organization. And those negative associations have stuck in some way. Perhaps the goal that we're trying to achieve is to eliminate that and restore the integrity of our brand. So those are the four areas, the four themes of a goals grid: achievement, preservation, avoidance, and elimination. In terms of constructing this, there are two dimensions then. Do we have it? Yes or no? And do we want it? Yes or no? So at the bottom corner, avoid is the no-no behaviours. At the top, achieve. Achievements are based on wanting something that we don't currently have. Bottom right, elimination. Having something we don't want. And at the top, preservation. Wanting to keep something we have already. The basic matrix of the grid is structured like this, just a 4-cell matrix, as many strategic tools are, and the objective is to complete all 4 elements as far as we can to help us determine which is the most important goal among all of those captured. Ultimately, this is about identifying the focal issue then. So the general process that I would use for a goals grid workshop would be to issue the 4 cell matrices to individual participants within a team. I would then ask them to spend 15 minutes or so, top of the head stuff, listing as many elements under each of the 4 cells. What we would then do is typically project those grids onto a wall using an OHP or a visualizer, something like that. And we try to tease out commonalities across grids, weight and assign priorities to them, and ultimately keep boiling down that process until we had a focal issue. The one thing that we all agreed was the most important, that was captured in something everybody said in all of their individual grids. So it's kind of like a round-robin process, but focused on a 4-cell matrix. So that's the goals grid. It has a wide variety of applications, anything that requires us to set clear goals. In HR, for instance, goals grids are often used as part of an annual appraisal process. Within the strategy literature, it's typically seen as a useful add-on to something like a SWOT analysis. But within the context of scenario thinking, it is one of the main elements used in identifying a focal issue, provided you have a carefully structured and facilitated workshop to tease out all of the different elements. Thank you.